Hello, my friends. I want to tell you about this time 10 years ago where I deliberately got myself rejected for 100 days. Why would I do something like this? Well, at that time, I was uh, I was going through a period where I, I felt very trapped, like in a cage of just fear, and my life felt very small. I was single. Um, and I just knew I wanted to shake up my life somehow. And then just this one morning, I woke up and just decided that I was going to get myself rejected for 100 days in a row with the goal of breaking through fears of rejection. And yeah, actually, before that, I had been talking to a friend about some of my unsuccessful romantic adventures, and he was just like, David, you need to get over your fear of getting rejected. You just need to deliberately do it. And like, here's an idea, and I was like, no way. I was horrified at the idea. There's no way I would have done that. But then the day came where the pain, the misery of being stuck where I was no longer tolerable. And I preferred the pain of of the experiment of getting rejected. And so I created this group of some of my close friends, this chat group, and shared with them this idea and told them that for every day I would share with them what I did that day. And I have to get a no. And if I don't, then they are free to suggest something for me to do, and I would have to do it. So, um, yeah, I embarked on this adventure, and at first it was, of course, challenging. Um, uh, I remember the first few times that I would go up to a stranger, ask for a hug, they would just say no, and then I would just feel so like, oh, and yeah, it like being dumped a bucket of cold water, but refreshing also. Um, and I remember there was one particularly awkward moment where they were all awkward, but there was one in particular that I remember fondly, looking back at it now, where I was sitting on the train, on the Caltrain in the Bay Area. Um, it's a packed commuter train, and sitting next to me was someone eating some food, and I looked at the food and I was like, I wanted to have some of that food, so I asked her, "Can I have some of your food?" And she was just immediately just like, "No," and just like went back to eating, and I had to sit there next to her for another like excruciatingly long, like two more stops. That was like 15 or 20 minutes. And just like, ugh, I'm being mortified. But it like really got me into this really freed up state where, and then I had this date I was going on, and I just felt so free, and it went really well. um, but yeah, I asked for all sorts of things. I asked for like doing people's dishes at a restaurant. I asked this longboarder to try it out, and he actually like showed me how. I asked this one grocery cart pusher and offered him some free ice cream, and he's like, "No, but do you have some weed?" I was like, "No," but then he was like, "Do you have a hot sister?" um, and just all sorts of crazy, just like anytime I see anyone, it would be an opportunity to ask for something zany and creative. And it just got me into this really open, free, creative state where I just had no fear of anybody. And no, and all sorts of interesting things came from this actually. Now I'll tell you one was on the 101st day. So when I was completely done with this challenge, um, I was glad. It was finally done. I don't have to look for another way to get myself rejected. As free as I was. But yeah, and then on that day, there's this random girl that added me on Facebook and and I was like, who is this? We had some mutual friends. She was sort of cute, and well, I just messaged her and not really expecting anything. And we messaged a bit, went out for coffee, and she was actually became my first serious romantic partner. So yeah, and that was literally on the 101st day when I had completely finished with this challenge, and I was not looking for, yeah, just not, didn't have any sort of expectations, attachments, or anything, just free. So that's the sort of magic that can arise. And this other time, I also asked this monk whether I could park my car in their monastery parking lot and sleep there, because I was living in my car at the time, and he was like, "No, but you could stay in our room." And, so I ended up staying at that monastery for a year. So, yeah, these are the sorts of things that can happen. And yeah, I'm sharing this also because, like, the last few months and especially recently, I've been going through this period again where my life has felt really caged. A lot of shame and fear and all this, and I knew I needed to shake something up. So this is a good story to share, something from my past to re-inspire myself. And today, I just, when I wrote this up super quick, I was feeling so free again in the world. So yeah, hopefully maybe this might inspire you. Um, Credit goes to Jia Jiang. He did a TED Talk, 100 Days of Rejections. You can check it out. I'll put the link below. He really took it to a whole other level and just did all sorts of crazy things and got some really amazing yeses. Like, just, I won't spoil it. You just have to watch the TED Talk. And actually, eventually, I also ended up connecting with him, and I actually helped him build out a prototype of a mobile app that he was working on. And I got him to come and do a little talk at this group, a learning night group that I organized. That was really epic. So yeah, I think the moral of it is, like, what I've learned from this is just everyone is so, really in their own worlds, and everyone is wanting connection of some form. And um, the worst thing that can happen when you ask for something, if someone says no, it doesn't mean anything. And, it doesn't mean anything about you. It's especially when you frame it as a ridiculous ask, right? Like, if you go up to a stranger and ask for, like, their food while they're eating, or a hug or something, well, of course they're going to say no. But um, it just reoriented it for me around, like, taking it personally to just seeing, like, oh, I mean, of course they're gonna say no anyway. This doesn't mean anything about me. So I hope this can inspire you, and it show you there's if you're feeling stuck, that there are fun and playful things that you can do with your life. Um, these, all right. Thank you for listening, and until next time. Bye bye.